Hi, my name is Kalm, and I was raised on a farm when a kid, clear my whole life, clear up to college. I went to college and I played football, and I thought that was a big deal. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I went to PSU. When I got out of school, graduated, I'd been married. I got married in my senior year. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I like this here kind of work is what I kind of had, I'd love to do. So when I graduated college, I worked in Pittsburgh on construction for a couple of months, and the man I was renting my house from, he worked at a coal mine, Mackie Clemens. Well, he came out here one day and he had me come along with him. And I thought it just amazing, So I didn't think I'd ever get a job out here, but I put in my application. Well, 2 months later, they called me for a job. They just had a big 7-inch rain and the pits were full of water. And so I got hired as a pumper. And I was just tickled to death. And so I worked as a pumper for a year and a half. And then I got bulldozer. I got to run a bulldozer, and then I was just tickled pink for that. And I worked in reclamation, just leveling dumps and stuff for about a year. And then I got to work around the drag line. They had a 1250 drag line. It was, I think, a 35-yard drag line. I got to work around that. And so that was, kind of my start here. I got laid off, and then I worked at another mine and it was a privately owned mine, a smaller mine, and I worked there as the superintendent and did a little bit of everything. I worked there for 17 years. So total I had almost 29 years of, 17 and 7 doesn't add up to be 29, but there were some other mines I'd worked at too. So no, because other than farming, I lived on a farm, but no, I started here right out of school. I started when I was 22, and 2 days later I turned 23. Yeah, everybody got along good. They didn't have any problems. And it was a dangerous job in ways, because when I was pumping, there would be, water. I could be in water, almost waist deep, and, around lightning and storms and up on pumps and be all wet and everything, at night, because I worked second shift, and electrical storms, and then Brutus had a big electric cable that they would let down over the high wall. That's how it was like a big bunch of extension cords up on top, and they would, when they had what they had called a gooseneck, they would let down a cable, then they had a cable onto the drag line, or shovel off of Brutus, they would hook together, and they'd call that in a little doghouse thing, they would call it, be like a little coupling, but it was covered. Well, it could be laying right there without water, So yeah, it was, and then, we had, in the wintertime, one time I had to break ice 4 inches thick, just to get the water pumped out. So it was, it wasn't the most dangerous job in the world, I guess, but yeah, it was a dangerous possibility of being dangerous, yeah. Well, my favorite memory was, I was still pumping, and I got to come up on Brutus because I could move around the mine, and so I got to come up on Brutus, and I was up talking to the operator while he was running, and that's just been a favorite memory of mine. He's no longer living, and I miss that thought that's caught in my mind. I miss him and that, in that moment. So yeah, that's my favorite. Well, most people don't understand, what it really takes to get the coal out of the ground, and because the coal is underneath the ground, anywhere from 40 foot to, whatever, and so you got to move all that dirt and to get to the coal, and then later on, there was so many regulations. Not like when I started, they didn't have many regulations at all. But when I finished up, there was so many regulations. They had to move all the topsoil and dirt, and you had to get a permit and just plan 5 years ahead of time. And it just so much more involved in the later years that people, I'm sure, don't understand. Sometimes coal mining could be feast or famine. I mean, when I first started, I worked. I had 2 days off in 6 months. It was 7 days a week, and we did take off Christmas. That's really the only. At that time, we was working 7 days a week. Christmas was the only day we didn't work, and so we worked all the holidays and everything. And so, thing that I really learned, I don't know, just being able to work with other people, I guess, and just, you just pick up things as you get more experience. I would be a little more, I wasn't dedicated, but, I understand more, back then you just thought that, it didn't make any difference what you did, but I realize now, that your job, how important your job is, and maybe not goof off so much.
Yeah.
No, I just think that this was, it was an important job, back then. Coal was, of course, now they're trying to phase coal out and stuff, but it was really an important commodity for many, many years for this country.